Hey, welcome back. We got a couple things to talk about today. Before I start doing any more cutting or welding on this thing, a couple of observations. So, kind of got myself into trouble again. Just trying to figure this out as I go. We're chopping this. Went with 4 inches out of the pillars. So I got my windshield exactly where I want it. I was going for a 9-inch windshield. I think that's going to be really cool looking, especially when you put the gasket on there. I think it's going to look really tight, really good looking chop, I think. But there is the other plane. So I think we got the X and the Z plane really good with the car. And I'm going to go through that here. I'm going to take the camera around and I'm going to show you the things that I think were good so far, and then some not so good things. So this is a learning process. I was kind of thinking, well, I'll just do some of this work off the camera, and then I'll come back. Everybody thinks it's awesome and it's easy. But I guess more than anything, as I said, this is more of a documentary of what I'm doing to the car and the things that are happening here. So I hope no one's really trying to learn from me other than understanding the mistakes that I made, so that when you're doing your own, maybe you don't make those kind of mistakes, or you know what to watch for, and things like that. So also got some announcements that have to do with this car and another project that I have sitting outside. So I'll get to those later. But for right now, let me show you things that are not so good. We'll get to the rest later. Thanks. All right, so a couple things. First off, I think the windshield, I think that's gonna look really cool. I think that the Z-axis, looks real good with the chop. X-axis, also we got that pretty good. There's not really a divot in the A-pillars here. They look good. I think they came together well. And if I come around to the passenger side, everything I've watched online, people doing this, you kind of want to get your passenger side done, they say, so that when you get to your driver's side, everything goes much better. Well, I didn't follow that, or I messed it up somehow, and I'm going to show you why here. So if I were looking at the B pillar here from front to back, looks like I got a pretty good line there. You can look, and behind that you can see the C pillar. That looks okay as well. But here's what's happening. I'm going to try and do this with 2 hands. I don't know if I can get this to really happen. If I put this on my B pillar here, you can see where my straight edge, that's the curve of the B pillar, and that seems to replicate what the car had before. So what I was trying to do on this side, I was trying to make it look natural. That happened to be where the roof was sitting, and it seemed like a pretty good spot for where I wanted to set it. And what happened was the back of the roof, I slid behind. So when you look at the clecos here, there was enough metal behind that so that I could put the clecos in. The roof, I think, also has a pretty good profile. If you look at the cut here, when I get around to it and I put that little back of the rear window in, I think it's going to look really good. Then I just have to, that back there is going to be the challenge, leaning that forward, doing relief cuts to make that match up. Again, I'm going to procrastinate on that, pretend like it's not an issue until I actually deal with the rest of the stuff. So in any case, if we go around to the other side of the car here, I'm going to try and finagle my phone and also my straight edge here. So again, on this side, I think the A-pillar came together really well. If you look at the profile of the windshield, that looks nice and straight. But here's the issue. This is where I really messed up. So when I put this on, the first thing I noticed was that there was a bigger gap between here and here than there was on the passenger side. And you can look at this and you can see right where I cut it, it looks really broken. It comes up and then whoop, go in the wrong direction. Now, if I put my straight edge on here, you'll notice that's not anywhere close to what the other side was. If you kind of look past that, it's kind of hard to see. The camera's probably going to focus on the B pillar still. You can see the C pillar also has that kind of break where I cut it, and it's going that direction. So fortunately, everything is just kind of tacked at the moment, and this is going to be fixable. It just means, a shit ton more work, because I kind of have to cut apart what I've done so that I can kind of split the difference. So here's my thought process. Again, so hopefully people can learn from this when they're doing their own, maybe for the first time. There are many fabricators who are excellent on YouTube. I'm not one of them. You can go find them. But I mean, if you look at Half-Ass Customs or Bad Chat or whoever it is that you prefer to watch, those guys knock these things out. They make them look super, super easy. But I'm gonna tell you it's a lot of work, and trying to just get everything perfect is very difficult. So here's kind of what I'm thinking. Because this B-pillar on the driver's side is leaned in too much, I need to tip it out. When I tip it out, this isn't gonna line up here. So as it stands right now, I have this edge pretty well lined up. That can be a fairly easy cut and butt this metal on the roof together, going all the way back. So here's my thought. We're gonna see how this works out. And you're gonna watch me struggle, so I guess I hope you enjoy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut my tacks on the outside of the B and C pillar. And I'll probably get rid of the clecos and those tack welds up there. Not sure about that yet. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over to this side and I'm gonna do the same thing. Okay, so I know this one needs to tilt in a little bit and the driver's side needs to tilt out a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'll cut the tacks on the outside part of the B and C pillar, and I know this needs to lean in. So what I'm gonna do is after those are cut, I'm gonna put a ratchet strap from this side to the floor down on that side. And I'm gonna ever so slowly click, click, until I see these lean in, which will push the entire roof that way, right? So that's gonna bring these pillars in a little bit. And I know there's gonna be a little bit of a, that right there is gonna start tipping. But what I'm gonna do then is I'll use my straight edge and I'm gonna try and meet in the middle. So I have, you know, this is not leaned enough. This is leaned too much, and I'm gonna pull it over. And from my measurements, the A pillars, they're perfect right where they are. From what I measured, there's nothing that I have to mess with on those. I think the back portion of the roof, when I put these pillars on, just needs to go that way, just a little bit towards the driver's side. And then once I do that, everything's gonna line up a little bit better. I think if I come to the back of the car here, if I just swing around this way, I don't know if you can maybe see how got that break in the B pillar there. You can really see on that picture there how it kind of tips in really far. That wouldn't be too bad to, you know, just notch the door, the window frame for the door, and I could deal with that. But it really looks terrible when I look at this compared to the other side. So I'd rather kind of meet in the middle and kind of get it more aesthetic so that this side matches the passenger side. So these are the issues that, you know, I guess you deal with, and every time you're doing a chop, I guess every single car is different. So, you know, as I said, this entire thing's a learning process for me. I am most definitely not an expert, but I can at least share my experience with this. So if you're doing it for the first time, you can figure it out. You know, basically you have to adapt to the situation. And I think that, you know, that's the key to this, is you're willing to be flexible. You're willing to make some cuts, and whatever the metal tells you need to do, that's where you're gonna be doing the welding and putting everything back together. So I'm gonna quit babbling on here because I think that was enough talking for one day. I'm going to get to cutting. I'm gonna put it on some time lapse for what I'm doing. And, you know, hopefully you can laugh at me struggling on this rusty 90-year-old piece of metal. And eventually, hopefully, I've got it running. So, hope you enjoy the rest. Thanks. Well, I hope you didn't get too dizzy on the time lapse there, but that actually worked out perfect. You can see I did a ratchet strap there. I took it from the top of this B pillar over to where I have the support welded in there. And all I did is I put a little bit of pressure on the top to wedge this one in, and then the other side matched up nicely. So anyways, just as a little template, I mean, eyeballing it, it looked pretty good. Had some pizza for dinner. Use this as the cardboard template. I just traced this out on the B-pillar here. So here's the passenger side, and this is where I made the template. You can see my tack welds are in there. Nothing special, but I took this template so I could go around to the other side of the car. And after our little bit of fiddling there, you can see I wedged open this side, and we've got our template matching pretty darn good there. So not rocket science, just cutting metal and trying to reshape it. So by doing that, I kind of brought the B-pillar back into a better shape here on the driver's side. Not too disappointed in that. And it matches up pretty well to this side over here. Now we got a little bit more of a lean on this one, and it matches the other side pretty well. So I'm gonna do some more welding here, get those things kind of more sturdy than just with the tack welds, and we'll move on. Well, here you go. So for about the hour and a half that I had to come out here today, I actually did accomplish what I was hoping for. So I did get the B-pillar cut on both sides, and I leaned the passenger side in. I leaned the driver's side out a little bit. That lined those up much nicer. You saw that I took the clecos out back here, and I got tack welds all the way along the top of the roof line here on top of the B-pillar and the C-pillar here. So those look pretty good. I got the roof lined up all the way. I'm gonna flip the camera around here in a second and kind of show you where I left it tonight. But you know what? All things considered, with the time I have, pretty pleased with it. So here's where we are. You can see we got this lined up pretty nice on the roof here, I think, at least for what I'm capable of. So we got it tacked all the way along the line there. You can follow the drip edge, and you can see we got a pretty nice contour there. Follows it all the way around the back of the roof. That's the passenger side, of course. If we bring it over here, you can see same kind of thing. We got a nice contour. We maintained the nice roundness to that. I did have to stretch the roof out a little bit, but we got this side all tacked in as well. So it's a pretty good starting point, I think, for the roof to be finished up. I'll obviously have to clean all of that up. It'll be a lot of time, I think, doing the cut and butt to line that up nicely. But I think overall, we kind of nailed the alignment of the drip rail there. Again, much more satisfied with the alignment of the B and C pillars. So, hey, that's an all right Saturday night. Thanks. Hope you guys enjoyed it. So anyways, this is kind of a little bonus at the end of the video here. I guess bonus for me or scary for me. A couple months ago, I think I was watching a YouTube channel. It's called Hardcore Fab. There was an announcement that there's Rat Rod Build Off 2024. So it's like, what the hell, for shits and giggles, I'll throw them a picture of what I'm working on, and good for me, I guess. I was selected to participate. So this thing that I'm building here, I have to have ready by September. I guess that puts a deadline, light a fire under your ass. So that's what I'm gonna be building this for. So I think plan is to finish the chop. I'm gonna have to channel the body. I'm gonna have to lower the frame, do a whole bunch of stuff in, what's that? About 7 months. So anyways, that's this project. The other project is outside the garage, and I actually recorded something a little bit earlier when there was actually sunshine out, which was amazing since it was quite nice. And the snow was melting, so I'll play that after this little announcement because there's a whole separate project next to the shop here. So anyways, Thanks again for watching. Catch you next time. Well, here we are, finally getting some sunshine, melting some of this snow, which is a good thing because we have this project back here. It's been kind of frozen into the ground by the back of the shop. But what we're looking at here is a 1928 Model A. So, just to add another thing to what I'm building, bought this rolling chassis. Looks like a pretty decent frame. Not much of a cab there, but this is what I got. And just because I have this masochistic side to myself, plan is to work on building this as a drag car for TROG, which of course is not until October, so I've got a while to do that. But this is going to be probably worked on in a few of the videos. I'll probably have to differentiate this from the Master Deluxe that I'm working on. But in any case, got a rolling chassis. Not much to it, but there doesn't have to be much to it when you're doing a rail car for TROG. So in any case, I just wanted to update because I'm finally able to get down to it because all the snow started to melt. So this will be an interesting one. It's just going to be a very basic frame rail drag car. Going to do some engine work. I already got some parts ordered for that. I'm going to pop the head off. We got to figure out where the status of the internals is. I'm probably going to do custom intake, custom headers, lake style headers, new ignition, convert it to 12 volt, all sorts of fun stuff. So we'll keep you posted, and when I'm ready to pull this around into the shop, you guys will see it coming.